Hello, everyone, and welcome to Executive Spotlight. I'm Koorosh Beigian, and today I have the privilege of sitting down with Hari Chidambaram, a global data and AI executive who has spent his career helping large, complex enterprises move from fragmented data environments to AI systems that actually deliver measurable business results. Hari, organizations everywhere are pouring billions into AI right now, but the ROI isn't showing up. Boardrooms are asking hard questions and leaders are struggling to explain the gap. What do you think about this situation? Welcome and thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Karusha. It's a privilege to be here. You framed it really well. The investment is real, the ambition is real, but the returns aren't materializing at the pace that was promised. In my experience, the reason is almost never AI itself, it's everything underneath it. The data foundations, the decision architecture in an enterprise, the organizational alignment. I've spent my career at this intersection, and I look forward to unpacking that with you today.
Great. So, Harry, like you said, you've worked across industries and enterprise scales from financial services to payments to small business products. When you look at the data and AI landscape today, what is the core mandate that drives your approach as a leader?
Yeah, yeah. My core mandate is to accelerate AI transformation across the enterprise and to do it in a way that maximizes speed to value, not just speed to deployment. These are different things.
Mhm.
The organizations that I have seen struggle with AI aren't failing because of technology. The technology is actually really good and it's getting better really fast. It's because the foundation underneath isn't ready. Data is not unified or trusted within a single source. Many times decisions are made with data silos, and organizational processes have not been built to scale at the speed of AI. Working at that intersectional section personally, um, building good data foundations that enable good AI is super important. Designing decision systems that turn insight into action, and leading organizations that through this change is required to make this ambition real.
Sorry, I've heard you often say that AI is a multiplier. It amplifies what's good and what's broken about your data foundation. Most organizations believe they have a data problem. What do you actually find when you go in? And what does it take to build a foundation that's truly AI ready?
Hmm. Kurush, I almost always find that when people say you have a data problem, it almost always equates to a trust problem. The pipelines exist, the warehouse exists. There's definitely faster speed, but the functional teams don't necessarily trust the numbers. Right?
Mhm.
Different teams have historically had different definitions of the same concept, same metric, and when dashboards disagree, no one actually knows what's right, and then you go into a whole reconciliation process. This is kind of where I start with, hey, it's not the technology, but we need to understand the root cause. Clear data ownership, consistent definitions, single source of truth, and data products with clear SLAs, governance that is embedded within workflows and enables speed is really important to build the right foundation. And when you get this right, you don't just enable AI, we create better decisioning and intelligence across the organization.
Great. So, Harry, with more data than ever before, leaders still feel that they're flying blind. How do you think about cutting through this noise and focusing organizations on what actually matters?
Yeah, this is a really interesting question. This is kind of where I see a new problem emerge, right? When you have AI solving some problems, it also creates new interesting challenges.
Mhm.
AI has made insight generation almost free, really fast, right? Anyone can spin up a dashboard, run an analysis, ask a question, and get an answer instantly. I mean, we do it in our lives every day with GPT and Claude, right? Um, but more insight doesn't necessarily lead to better decisioning. In fact, It often creates what I call the curse of plenty, where teams are overwhelmed with information and many times lose alignment on what actually matters. So, a big part of my focus is helping organizations separate signal from noise. And this means identifying the few decisions that truly drive business outcomes and then building systems to make those decisions well with the right North Star metrics, guardrail metrics, a rigorous experimentation and causal inference framework so that you know what's actually working versus what may look like it's working with a lot of activity. The goal isn't always more insight, it's better decisions made faster with higher confidence.
Great. And like you mentioned, Harry, data and AI leaders are increasingly being held accountable for business outcomes, not just technical delivery. And you just
Mhm.
touched on that. How do you bridge that gap?
Yeah. Um, and I think this is an important shift. The expectations on data and AI leaders has fundamentally shifted. It used to be that, you deliver good, clean data, reliable pipelines, good models, and work with the business to make good decisions. Now, the question is, um, the work that you did it actually move the needle? And I think this question is being asked more and more across organizations. The way I bridge that gap personally is by starting backwards from customer problems um, and thinking about what are the things we can do that will deliver the highest ROI for customers. What would it take? What needs to be true in order for customers to see value? It's a combination of the right data, the right models, the right workflow integrations um, to truly drive outcomes at scale. And I think this reframe across organizational culture changes everything. It changes how you prioritize, how you measure success, how your team understands the work that they're doing. Uh, and they're not just working on a pipeline or a model. You're really solving customer problems at scale. And that's a different kind of accountability. And I think that's what separates teams that ship models and technology from the teams that drive transformation.
Great. So let's get specific now, Harry. Walk me through a transformation that you led, um, the problem that you inherited, how you approached it, and actual business outcome, what business actually achieved as a result of this transformation.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good question. Um, let's pick an example from Intuit Mailchimp. I inherited a business challenge where
Sorry,
new
you
customer
said
churn.
Intuit MailChimp, right? Intuit
That's
MailChimp?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
that's right.
Yeah.
I inherited a problem where new customer churn was high
Mhm.
and decision making was fragmented across a large organization, multiple teams with their own definition of customer health and consistent system guiding lifecycle actions. And this was impacting when we had millions of customers and a meaningful portion of revenue was being impacted. When I dug into the data, we found that our core assumptions of where value was and what we should build were not necessarily right. And that made it clear that this wasn't just a modeling problem, it was also a decisioning and systems problem. Um, we aligned on a single operational definition of customer health, implemented a rigorous experimentation framework, and embedded AI-driven next best actions directly into product and marketing workflows so that decisions could scale consistently across these teams. And with this, within a few quarters, we saw a meaningful reduction in early lifecycle churn across our millions of customers, along with material improvements in lead quality and marketing efficiency, translating into tens of millions of dollars in business impact. Uh, More importantly, we shifted how culturally people across product marketing and data made decisions from fragmented intuition to consistent execution. And I think the takeaway for me was the impact didn't come from siloed thinking, it came from systems thinking and identifying a set of high value decisions um, and scaling them across the organization.
That's great. Uh, so, Harry, I wanted to ask about your vision now. As you look at the next 2 to 5 years, what shifts do you see coming that data and AI leaders need to be preparing for right now? What's your honest take on where the industry is headed?
Kurush, I think this is the multi-million dollar question that everyone's asking,
Right.
right? And technology is moving really, really, really fast at a pace that we have never seen before. Period. Um, here's my view of the world. And I think about it in three ways within an enterprise. First, um, I like to call this role collapse. Traditionally, right, if you think about a data function, you had a data engineer, an analyst, a data scientist, an ML engineer, an applied scientist. And these roles were clearly defined even a couple of years ago, right, and very specialized. I think we're entering an era of um, full stack builders or builders across that can work across what was traditionally adjacent functions, and can move raw data to deployed AI fast. That's where the technology is. I think organizations still hiring and structuring around older job titles are going to find themselves slower in a world where the tools have fundamentally changed what one person can do. Second, um, is the shift from reactive to proactive intelligence at scale. For most of the last decade, I'd say analytics has been, somewhat reactive, right? We call that descriptive intelligence. Agentic AI flips that. Systems will increasingly monitor, surface, and trigger actions within defined boundaries and governance guardrails and human oversight. And I think this requires a different type of thinking, data architecture, and governance model. And organizations investing in that now will have a significant head start, and it'll pay dividends. And third, as I think about executives, I call this the full stack executive. um, I mean, the 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 time between idea and execution is severely compressed.
Mhm.
And leaders that are going to drive transformation are the ones that are going to be able to think across product, data, AI, and GTM simultaneously, um, and who are close enough to the work to make fast, high quality bets. AI has commoditized skill to some degree, and it'll only continue to get better. Uh, but what it has not commoditized yet is judgment and the ability to separate signal from noise at a strategic level, to know which problems are worth solving and where you should have conviction to move the organization forward. And the executives that have this combination of technical AI fluency and strategic wisdom are most certainly going to have outsized impact over the next few years. And I think this is why I'm most excited about the future. I think it's there's a lot of opportunity ahead. I think AI is going to create many more opportunities. So just like the internet or electricity, right?
Mhm.
Um, and it's gonna be fun.
Great. So, Harry, thank you very much for all your insights. This was very useful. I know everybody who's watching uh, was as fascinated as I am with what you just shared with us. So, for those leaders who are navigating similar challenges and want to continue the conversation with you, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Yeah, thank you, Kurush. This was great. Always a pleasure speaking with you. The best place to find me is on LinkedIn. I enjoy connecting with leaders who are working through these kind of transformations, and when we're all in this together. The shift from uh, how we did things to what's possible with AI is real, and we're facing some really interesting challenges right now. You can also reach me through my website, harichidambaram.com, and I'm always happy to exchange perspectives and learn from others in the space.
That's great. Thanks again, Harry. It was a wonderful conversation and really enjoyed it. I look forward to continuing future conversations with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kurush.
All right, take care.